Hello, Reckoning7, and welcome back to Combat Mission Black Sea in our head-to-head game against Chap. I've actually been doing a lot of thinking around about this offline, and so we have some thoughts about how I want to proceed. But before we get into that, and invariably watch this mess up my plans, but let's have a look at the replay and see what happens. I'm not maybe expecting too much, actually. Oh, well, never mind. That is frustrating. Looks like he's got a Jav team by him, but perhaps just out in the hillside here. Which is not good, because it probably means he's about to get a Jav up the bum as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, that could definitely have gone better. Alright, let's watch a few bits and pieces and then we'll talk about what, if anything, we're going to do to try and salvage this. So, yeah, our MGS here, which we had brought forward to have a look to see if the Bradley has advanced. Just eats a Javelin. I'm guessing there was just a team deposit in the rear of that hill. Looks to be the case. Our machine gun team continues to get eaten by some 25mm. And then now, interesting to see, so you are just kind of bugging out. Okay, so that's obviously fire from a Bradley against the fleeing team. You get a laser warning. And there's, yeah, 25mm from his Bradley. What's really annoying, and I not so much in this time because we're driving away, but we've never once seen this flippin' Bradley. 3 times it's now put 25mm into a variety of our vehicles. And not once have we spotted the dastardly thing. So that's frustrating. These guys are continuing to get shot. We'll try and pull them out. Again, only 1 casualty, so not the end of the world. I think our 105s are still miles off target, and I'm getting increasingly disappointed in having perhaps brought... Yeah, I mean, that's miles off. Don't know what that was about. Brought our 105s rather than our potentially 155s. Okay, and then out on this side, we have spotted... Here's Bradley again. Hello! Question is, are you doing anything about it? Moving, spotting, moving. Not really. It's not, I mean, let's be honest, that's not the greatest spot in the world, but okay. There is perhaps a remit for our own Bradley to come up here and land some shots, although perhaps that's exactly the angle he's got covered. The other opportunity is, how well is he protected by this slight rise? Yeah, frustratingly well actually. It's a good little defilade position they've got there. Okie dokie. Alright, let's jump into the turn order phase. Right, so what was my thoughts? Well, before we so rudely lost our MGS, I had been thinking about how things are going. So our initial plan coming into this, we'd done a little bit of terrain denial to stop a push straight up here, which we probably need to change what we're doing with that order, because I think it's maybe losing a little bit of value, but that's neither here nor there. And then the idea had been to kind of spread out, so we went clump up our forces and then try and engage in some kind of positional victories to inflict some losses upon Chap's side as we kind of start to meet each other. That hasn't really happened. We had one opportunity early on, which we hit a tree, and since then we have just been on the wrong side of it. You know, we've had this Bradley's come under 25mm fire twice now. We've lost a Bradley to a Javelin over here. We've now lost our MGS to a Javelin from this side, and this Bradley's taken 25mm fire as well, and inflicted, I mean, possibly some infantry casualties, but that's about it. Yeah, so what we're wanting to do? Well, I don't like the way things are going, so I want to make a bit of a change. And we had talked about trying to kind of muster more of a force to secure this area. I think that's the way we're going to go. Move to a bit of a defensive footing along this line, and with the intent of pulling out some forces. I had been out my MGS, it's now dead, but we're going to at least pull one other Bradley, which may be all we can spare, but we might take another one, with a view to try and knock out the forces through on this side and take possession of this. To facilitate that, we're going to lean upon our UAV as well. The question being, how much do I care about this 105 order, which is not really doing huge amounts for me, to be perfectly honest. It is frustratingly inaccurate. I might give them, I'll probably give them at least one more minute as I maneuver some of my other forces, and then we'll kind of worry about if we just cancel at that point. Now they are starting to move through trees. I wonder, what kind of target areas can you do? Nothing spectacular. You can kind of go into these trees there, but that's pretty close and not really going to do much for you. So let's clear your target for just now. We do have our machine gun team advancing. Yeah, and as you can see, you can't see anything of that Bradley apart from, well, you can just see the top of its toe. Zoop. There. I don't know if that's enough to give anyone A, a spot, and B, something to shoot at. From this position, yeah, I mean, from here you can't even see anything really. Okie dokie. Yeah, so I'd like to bring this Bradley over, I think. I might even bring the two over, because they're really not doing very much sitting here, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to put it over. They're probably going to have to come out this road rather than take this one up the middle. Although, I don't know how much of a threat's here, to be perfectly honest. We might be able to just blitz our way out here and a bit quicker. But he has got infantry teams, he has got Javelins, so really we can't particularly spend our time up in the open. Now the question is, could we come up and we could almost even blind fire this Bradley. We come to say here and then, I don't need to hunt for that. If we want to come up to this rise, and there's always going to be a question of, does he see me before I see him? Question is, at this point, do we have the capability to target where that Bradley is? The answer might be yes, might be no. How far back is it? Okay, so it's in a bit. Right, I'm going to go and I will finagle this and come back in a second. Okay, so the long and the short of it is I cannot find a position where he ends up. I know there's one planned here, but I'm going to do that. But any position where he ends up where he can actually target the action square the Bradley's currently sitting in. So I can't do any kind of blind firing of him with the 25mm. I'd have to wait for him to actually do an identifiable spot, which I'm not really confident in his ability to do without getting spotted first. So what we're going to do is, you can see I'm going to pull the Javelin team out, see if they can't get that line of fire. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue to drive around and make a bit of noise with this thing, just to keep, I don't know, almost keep him busy and keep him kind of preoccupied and give him something to think about in terms of what I might be up to. So we're just going to kind of turn up to places and shoot stuff for a little bit and then run away again. If I can find somewhere to do it. You don't need to watch that. I'll plan the order and we'll come back. Alright, here we go. So we're going to turn up, fire for 15 seconds, and then pull back a little bit. Again, just give him something to think about. Now I do have to watch. Unfortunately, I have to watch this position here. So what I would like to do is probably, I'm going to dismount you, because there's only one of you left. And I would rather have your scouting ability, so please and thank you, jump out. And then we'll get to the edge of the tree line. This thing still has its 25mm, but I think it was the optics damage? No, just the radial. So theoretically, you still very much have the ability to see what's going on. So as much as I would love that guy to pop out this turn, I'm probably going to do a little bit of manoeuvring. See, actually, we think they're possibly hidden from this angle. But we're going to do that, and then we're going to get you to jump out. Maybe you can help me do some scouting for me. We'll see how that goes. You were slowly moving forward. Which I think is okay. My worry is, I mean, you'd be better with like an 84 rather than an 80 GM here. Especially now we know there's other infantry lying around here somewhere. Why not? Let's scooch forward one more action square. I think you're probably going to come up against his infantry at some point. And then we do need our own infantry here to start, advancing through the woods. That's fine. And you guys are trying to get out of dodge. That's also fine. We just need to kind of hold them up here where we're not going to take huge amounts of fire. And you I would like to pull out. How much damage did you take? Lost your smoke launchers and you lost your toes. Always the toes. Yeah, let's put you back to here for just now. Ah, disappointed. So disappointed with that thing. Alright, down here, again, I will start putting a little bit of pressure on where we can. So again, let's move forward, get some rounds away and then pull back. There's only so many times we can do this before it becomes very obvious what we're up to. Oh, for goodness sake. But I'm okay with maybe being a little bit more obvious about the things we're trying to do. And I'm tempted just to start shooting up this kind of area over here. You'll probably be like, well, what is this guy doing? I don't have anyone here, but it doesn't really bother me. Just start shooting up. Now, we know this guy took a tow, and it could have been from the troops here, but it could also have been from someone lurking back here. Well, I don't know, why don't we do that for 15 seconds, and then we'll pull back. We'll just start to apply a little bit of pressure, make a little bit of noise. Kind of just trying to give them pause for thought. I feel I've been a little bit on the passive side, want to be a bit more active, not just waiting for things, because that's, oh well, that's going pretty badly for us, right? Good, right, Javelins in position. Let's now advance with our sniper. You start jumping through the woods, and we'll get you over here as well. We have this team. I'd like, if we can, to keep going forward a little bit further. We've got to watch at some point. We're going to come into under fire potentially from the troops over here, so keep an eye on that. I'm going to want to move this guy over, which is fine. And my old question is which way I'm going to pull him. I think I'm going to pull you south. Okay, so I'm going to pull this Bradley back to here with a view of supporting this direction. And I'm probably going to leave this Bradley here because I'm starting to get a bit thin in the middle. And that's what we'll call it. So yeah, things are... That was a pretty bad turn. And things may not get better before they get worse. No, things may get worse before they get better. Because obviously the more damage we take without inflicting any, then the less force we have with which to inflict damage. Cool. Oh well, we'll see if we can start hurting Chap, because we haven't done it yet. I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheerio.